Welcome back to Grade 7 Geography, Unit Number 2, Our World's Natural Resources, Use and Sustainability. This is Lesson Number 15, How are we addressing our use of natural resources? Thankfully, a growing number of people realize that the way we use natural resources has to change. We need to keep in mind that resource use in one part of the world has an impact on the other. And while the picture of this gentleman having no grasp of how he can make use of a ladder to help him see what's beyond this wall, it doesn't matter how many resources you have. If you don't know how to use them, there will never be enough. And that is a very true statement. There are many different perspectives on the use and sustainability of resources. Native peoples, governments, environmental groups, and businesses all have very different ideas on how we should use and preserve natural resources. So, of course, we should see elected members of our government making public speeches on how to protect our environment. We should see our government taking positive action. A positive action can start at the ground level with people organizing themselves, such as in this diagram of the Florida Clean Water Initiative rally. These are people who are not necessarily part of the government, but they are working together to encourage their local businesses, their government, to take more responsible actions with regards to their water. 7 generations is a teaching method that First Nations peoples have been using for centuries. This method involves teaching children to consider how taking and using resources will affect that next 7 generations of their families. So we're talking over 100 years into the future. 7 generations teaching helps learners understand the connections between people, plants, animals, and the land. There are other approaches to thinking about our natural resources. The conservation approach means using resources wisely so that they are available for a very long time. A frontier approach views the world as existing for humans, meaning that humans can take resources for all of their needs and wants. The preservation approach says that resources should be preserved, put aside, and protected. Which approach do you agree with? People are also responding in different ways to environmental challenges caused by natural resource use. Sometimes we make individual choices, such as choosing to use a bicycle instead of a car, or refusing to buy a product that has too much plastic packaging. Other actions are taken as a whole group. For example, an environmental group educates people about environmental issues. Governments make laws and regulations that can help preserve our natural resources. Sometimes environmental groups, such as one in this picture, hold protests, peaceful protests, as a means of making people aware of environmental issues. Companies are beginning to make more responsible efforts to reduce energy use. New appliances are being built so that they use less energy. Not only do these appliances save energy, they also help people save money by paying less on their hydro bills. So this is something which you and your parents should look out for when you're going to the store or the mall to buy a new appliance. Just take a look for this Energy Star label, and this will tell you that the piece of technology or appliance uses less energy and is therefore less destructive to the environment. Countries are making stronger efforts to use flow resources as a clean source of energy. Solar and wind power, as well as water, are replacing oil and gas as sources of power and electricity. Places which have not been stripped of their natural resources are now being designated as natural parks and heritage sites. So our hope is that we have more scenes like the one in this picture here, where we will say we don't need to change this environment. We can leave it as is, and we can ask our government to enact laws which make sure that companies do not come in and turn this natural environment into other things. In order to be designated a natural heritage site, the following criteria needs to be met. The area is of exceptional natural beauty. The area represents a major stage of Earth history. The area is an example of important ecosystems and communities of plants and animals. And the area contains a significant number of natural habitats, plants, and animals. Just to conclude today's video, we will discuss this question in tomorrow's class. What do you think life will be like in 7 generations if the way we use resources does not change? Is this a future that we want? So if it helps, just go back and watch today's video again. Take some time tonight to consider these two questions here, and we're going to have a discussion about this in tomorrow's class. But until then, this concludes today's video.